Hello, friends. Ace Attorney resumes promptly. So were we... Right, we had just ended part one of the investigation. So, to recap real quick, Phoenix, or Naruhodo, stowed away on a ship from Japan to Great Britain. His friend whose cabin he was staying in wound up dead. He was sleeping in a wardrobe at the time, and apparently he was like, oh, my head hurt. Like, I'm still waiting for him to be like, oh, there's a giant freaking bump on the back of your head where somebody knocked you out. The person in the he left a diary entry. Well, you know what? I can just look at the court record. That has a nice summary sometimes. He wrote the word for wardrobe in Russian with ink on the floor, but it probably wasn't him. Just before he died, he wrote an entry where he said he saw a speckled band coming down from the ventilator grill, and strangely enough, Sherlock Holmes is in this episode as Herlock Sholmes. Very clever. There is, I'm positive, a Sherlock Holmes story in which somebody says or writes something about a speckled band just before they die, and it turns out that it was a poisonous snake that had been let into the room to bite them and kill them. And they showed a snake at the beginning of this episode, like during the intro thing, which is just very strange. If they were to actually give away the twist, and for the twist to be like one of the most famous detective stories in the world. Oh, did we see what her... Did she open the suit? I don't think she opened the suitcase and showed what kind of pet she has. But the person next door is a ballerina, a Russian ballerina on the run, who was in disguise. She was in the room last night at the time that he died, but we don't know if she's responsible. And she certainly is not, because she seems nice. I wish we hadn't been thrown out like that. I wish we'd managed to find some clue as to what that speckled band might be. We didn't manage to investigate at all. And I imagine that we won't be able to for a while longer. We'll never get past that sailor guarding the door. He's clearly glaring at us, as if to say, don't even think about it. Oh, wait a minute. What is it? Well... what happened to our great detective friend? Where did he go? Oh yes, he's completely disappeared. When did he do that? He slipped away as quietly as the wind, but not before ensuring that these were securely back on my wrists. Can't even converse with him. Maybe if I examine him first. I really wish we'd had a chance to look around in Miss Pavlova's cabin.
What? Why you look like that? You want something? Maybe. You want me to throw you out again,
Oh, no, definitely not that.
Next time I have to throw you out and show you where lobsters spend winter. Understand?
Understand.
I don't understand.
Maybe I should steer clear of him until he's forgotten my face. I don't think he'll ever forget your face, Naruhodo-san. Well then, let's explore the rest of the ship. Is that an option? No. We shall never be able to enter. So unless what's-his-name's here, there shouldn't be any more clues in here, unless we're to talk to him, I guess. Looks like they're still investigating in here. Yes, on that subject, I wonder if Inspector Hosonaga is unscathed. What do you mean, unscathed? Surely you haven't forgotten, have you, Naruhodo-san? Don't you remember what he said about allowing you out of this cabin to investigate? He was going to talk to the captain about it. He said he'd lay his life on the line for you. Oh, yes. But I'm sure he was exaggerating. Let's see what he has to say for himself. He might have some new information for us. You never know. You. Oh, no.
You, where did you go?
Oh, sorry. I just went to the next door cabin to investigate.
Why?
Who gave you permission for this? Well, Seaman Hosonaga did.
That new Japanese, was it? Later I will roll him into ball and throw him in cold room.
Whew. He's going back to guarding the door. I hope Inspector Hosonaga doesn't find himself in too much trouble on our account. He's really gone out of his way to help us, hasn't he? When we get back to Japan, we'll have to take him for a steak at La Carnival. That could be a very long time from now, Naruhodo-san. So there's nothing different here, right? Oh, he's here in the room. Oh! Ah, you're back. Inspector! What happened to you? Your face is... Please, don't worry about it. They're just scratches. Made by a bear, maybe? When I told the captain that I'd given you permission to investigate, he told me he'd pummel me with his fists and then toss me overboard. What? But the pummeling was over in a flash, and he must have decided against throwing me overboard. So it was nothing, really. It looks like he wasn't joking when he said he'd lay his life on the line if he had to. Well, thanks to your efforts, we now know a little about the neighboring cabin. Yes, so I understand. Oh. I bumped into a man claiming to be a great detective a little while ago. I think his name was something like Herlock Sholmes. I don't think he was German, though. Ah, that explains it. Shall we compare notes, then? We can tell you what we've found out. Yes, let's do it. What? Nikolina Pavlova, she's in the cabin next door? Oh, do you know who she is? Please, what self-respecting ballet fan wouldn't know that graceful angel? Ahem. Oops, I think I upset him there. Well, that tells us the neighboring cabin is unrelated to the case, at least. Oh? How? Because angels don't go around committing crimes, do they? Oops, now I've definitely upset him. Inspector, has your investigation here proved fruitful? If I'm honest, there's very little more I can do. Our duty is to make sure the scene isn't disturbed, ready to hand over to the Hong Kong police. So I'm just keeping watch here, trying not to take my eyes off the job. Are they going to Great Britain by way of Hong Kong? Where is everything on the world map? I don't know. That's terrible. No, I... They've been sailing for 15 days, they said. I don't know. Like, I mean, I guess you go down around to Africa? Can you get through, like, where Egypt is? I don't know. There is one thing. I do have a small piece of new information for you. Oh, what? Yes, do tell us, Inspector, please. Like, Hong Kong is nowhere near... I don't know what they're talking about now. New information? I'll ignore it. Oh, Mr. Sholmes was here, was he? Yes. He seemed to be enjoying himself a little too much as he crept about on the floor investigating. But then he suddenly left. I suppose he must have become bored. Did he say anything at all? Actually, now you mention it, yes. Just the one thing, but he practically shouted it. "It's shoe polish," was all he said. Shoe polish? I wonder what he meant. It was when he was over there, by the piece of broken glass. Do you see it? Perhaps he was talking about this brick-colored mark, do you think? Yes, that must be it. This guy did not put two and two together. But how could Mr. Sholmes know that it's shoe polish? That leaves me cold, I'm afraid. I have no idea. What is it, Susanoo-san? Well, Kazuma-sama was wearing leather shoes with a very dark tan hue. Dark tan? Sort of dark brownish red. Since when is there red and tan? Don't make up new colors. We got enough already. Yes, a little like the color of red wine, but darker. I often repaired them for him. Oh. Does this mean that this mark was made by the polish on Kazuma's shoes as they scuffed the floor? Did he slip? What is this new information you have, Inspector? It's this. The Buria's medical officer has finished his examination of the body. I managed to obtain the report. Oh. Kazuma's post-mortem report? Kazuma-sama. Is it going to be that he just, like, slipped and fell? Because that's why all the books and everything were tilted. The ship rocked. He slipped and cracked his eggshell head on the floor, and then somebody else was in the room and was like, well, I better make it look like a murder. So what was the cause of death? Damage to the cervical vertebrae is what's written in the report. His neck was broken? Yes, it would seem so. There were no obvious wounds or other signs of injury. So at first I think they were considering poison. But it turns out they found no trace of poison in his system at all. What weapon was used then? Nothing has been found as yet. But the fact that there are no signs of a wound suggests it may have been a blunt object, something that wouldn't leave a mark. Oh, I see. All of the body's nerves run through the spine to the brain. A strong enough impact to the neck could induce death. It is a possibility, and no obvious wound would be left. Really? I feel like if you were to hit someone in the neck hard enough to break the bones and like sever their spine, it would leave a mark. Poor Kazuma. Whereas if you were to just do the you know, like they do in the movies, that would leave less of a mark. I have a second copy of the report. If it might be useful, you're welcome to have it. Really? Are you sure? Yes, it's fine. I trust you. After all, if I didn't trust you, I'd never have agreed to you leaving this cabin in the first place, would I? Ah. That's really all I can tell you at this stage. I should return to my post. My fellow crewmen's eyes are boring into the back of my head. Yes, that might be for the best. Thank you. Poor Inspector, you look exhausted and bloody. You look so tired that you're bleeding from the mouth. Oh no. Well, I feel terrible that I failed to protect Asugi-san. He was my responsibility. Of course, my pain is nothing compared to yours. You are his friends. The truth is, I seem to have had a heavy head ever since I woke this morning. A heavy head? That's interesting. My head's still throbbing too. Maybe their head hurts from having to process information faster since they all have Radical 6 and they're on the moon. Checkmate. Alright, so I guess we check the shoe polish, right? This will advance the plot. It really is such a beautiful color, this glass. It looks like whatever it was is broken clean in two, but the other half is nowhere to be seen. Then there's the brick-colored mark, which is shoe polish, according to that great detective you seem to know all about. I suppose it must be from Kazuma-sama's shoes. Maybe. But what I'd like to know is, how can the detective be so sure that it's shoe polish and not something else? Because he's a great detective, of course. It's hardly a reason, is it? What else are we supposed to examine in here? So this ventilator joins to Ms. Pavlova's cabin. Alright, new information. Or new text, anyway. Yes, that's right. And just a few minutes before he died, Kazuma saw something emerging from it. The speckled band, as he described it. Is it going to be, instead of being bitten, it was like a python and it wrapped around his neck and killed him without leaving a mark? If only Ms. Pavlova had been able to shed some light on it, but she seemed as baffled as we are. Yes, I wonder if she's telling us everything, though. I'm not sure. I know most people aboard would say the same thing about me, but there was something about that woman that didn't sit right with me. So it's clear that these letters were written with the ink that was somehow spilt on the floor. And they spell the Russian word for wardrobe. Mirai. It does seem to be an unambiguous pointer to you, Naruhodo-san, as you were sleeping in there. That makes so little sense that he would, instead of writing, like, my name, he would write the place that I was hiding, despite the fact that, like if I had mortally wounded him, and then before he died, I got into the wardrobe and sealed it behind me. He was like, well, I'll write the word wardrobe so they know where I am. But to be truly in it should have just spelt out my name, don't you think? Well, either way, one fact remains. It's hard to imagine that Kazuma-sama would have written his last words, or word, in Russian. Which begs the question of who did write it. Anything new over here? This is where Kazuma spent his final moments writing his diary. 1:23 a.m. I can hear a faint whistling sound. Oh yeah, and what is that? We don't know what the whistling sound is either. Looking at his writing here on this page, it's almost impossible to believe that he's gone. Kazuma-sama left us a valuable clue in these words, I'm sure of it. We have to solve this mystery, Naruhodo-san. We will. Oops, not you. Meat on the bone. Oh wait, maybe I have to. There might be something. Of course, I can present something to him. Maybe? No.
I can't do it if you're watching.
Objection! Blind umpire
Just turn
objects.
around. All right.
Allowed.
Can't do it if you're leering at me. It's creepy.
That is allowed under the rules of court. You may object. I acknowledge your objection. How are you? We are on case 2 of Ace Attorney Chronicles. These are the rules of passage for travel aboard the SS Burya. We've already read these, though. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabin. Pets are also strictly forbidden. So by bringing her pet on board, Miss Pavlova has broken the rules. How are we doing? I am doing good. My back has kind of hurt for the past few days. It might be because I've been sitting on a broken chair. So I now have 3 broken chairs in the apartment. After the one that I had been sitting in broke beyond the point of being able to sit in, I went and got my least broken chair. It's this one from forever ago. Back when my standards for how not broken does a chair have to be in order for me to sit in it were much higher. Because this is like, it's broken. But I can still sit in it without it dumping me onto the floor. Like, the other 2 chairs are completely broken. So I need to, I was looking around real quick for where, I might get, it looks like Staples has a chair that's decent for only, like, you know, $180 or something. Like, I'm so I've always wanted to get like a nice chair, one that would last for a few years, one that would have a warranty, to be like, oh yeah, if it breaks after a year and a half, we'll send you parts to repair it, or we'll send you a new one. And I never have. The one that I had before the current chair that I had been sitting in was a G-Tracer, or G-Tracing, and I thought that was supposed to be a nice chair, and it didn't last very long. Home Depot and Office Depot, respectively. I'm so torn on whether to just keep buying $50 chairs. Like, if a $50 chair is comfortable enough and lasts for even half a year, that's still better than spending, you know, $300 on a nice chair that then only lasts for 2.5, maybe 3 years. But I mean, I know that there are nice chairs out there where it's whatever the Herman Melville or whatever it's called. There's some chair that you can, it's like, oh, this is the last chair you'll ever buy. It's like $1,500, but it's guaranteed to last you for the rest of your life, even if you sit on it 24 hours a day. And it's like, but I'm not gonna pay that much money for a chair. So by bringing her pet on board, Ms. Pavlova has broken the rules. She's going to jail. She called it her friend, didn't she? Yes. Although we don't know what form this friend takes as of yet. I'm almost certain that whatever it is, it's inside the traveling case in her cabin. A friend. There's more to this than it seems, I think. That's it. There's nothing else to examine now. The door? Not the door. Oh, examine the shelf again. Because her shelf was also tipped over. All the books provided for passengers occupying this cabin neatly arranged on the shelf. Yeah, so I wasn't aware until I picked the game up that the way it works is there are 6 games in the main series. You got Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney 1, 2, and 3, whatever they're called, I forget. You've got Ace Attorney Apollo Justice, where you play as Apollo. Then you have the 5th game, which is Ace Attorney Dual Destinies, where you go back and forth between playing Apollo and Phoenix. And then Spirit of Justice, where I think you do the same. You play as both of them, and I think you play as the girl sometimes. Then there's the Phoenix Wright versus Professor Layton, which I streamed like 2 years ago. There's 2 of the Miles Edgeworth Investigations games where you play as Edgeworth. And then this is a collection of 2 games called The Great Ace Attorney. Chronicles is the bundle. There's 2 games in it, I forget what they're called. But in these, you're playing as Ryuichi Naruhodo, which is Phoenix Wright's name in Japanese, but you are playing in like the year 1900. So you're not the real Phoenix Wright, you are presumably his ancestor. They were all over the place when we first looked around, if you remember. Oh yes, and you tidied them up, didn't you? Tampering with evidence. You have to look after the ship's property. Unruly behavior in the cabins leads to damage. It really wasn't me who knocked them over. Well, anyway, I feel much better now that they're neatly lined up. I can't relax when things are untidy. Yeah, what else? Am I allowed to... I don't think I'm allowed to leave, right? If I try to leave... Oh, here's present... Oh, but there's nobody to present to. No, wait. If I go like this, and then hit back, and then... Nope, can't present. Alright, so can I move? Will they let me back out here? They do, and the guy is gone? Less confusing than Zelda, considerably. Ah, look, Naruhodo-san. Seaman Stroganoff is gone. Strong enough? What? The burly Russian soldier who's always crossing his arms and glaring at us. All these Russian names are impossible to remember, but easy to voice, because I'm good at voicing Russians. Tra-la-la. What? Did you hear that? It sounded like someone singing. Tra-ra-ra-lee-ra-lee-ra-lee, I did it the great detective way. Oh. Ouch. This caroling. I know that lark-like voice. Well, never mind that now. This is a golden opportunity for us. Yes, you're right. We must seize it. Let's get inside Miss Pavlova's cabin while we can, and investigate. Definitely. Before that stringy knot... What? Learn to speak. Crewman comes back. It's Stroganoff, not Stringy Knot. Going in. Can't stop me. Miss Pavlova isn't back yet. Susanoo-san. Oh, where's she going? Hey, what are you doing? Those are her private things. There's not a moment to waste, Naruhodo-san. We must investigate as quickly as we can. I suppose you're right, for Kazuma's sake. She just reading her diary. She's like, Dear Diary, today I murdered the person in the cabin next door. It's like, we did it. We found the evidence. Oh my god, that actually did happen in Spirit of Justice. When we read Justice Minister Inga's secret note that he had written to himself about his master plan. Where he's like, once I have poisoned the queen, I will... whatever... No, was it poison? Whatever it was. He wrote like a 2-sentence journal entry to himself to remind himself that his plan was to kill the queen. It was great. Not just for Kazuma-sama. What do you mean? It can't be long now until we arrive at port in Hong Kong. I don't want you to be in those handcuffs when we get there. Really? We must solve this case, Naruhodo-san, by ourselves if we have to. Yes, we will. So what was she looking at? Naruhodo-san, are you there? Sorry? I'm right here, yes. Why? Oh, good. I thought you might have climbed into the wardrobe when I wasn't looking. There's no place like home. Believe me, I don't have some strange compulsion to jump inside every wardrobe I see, you know. The plot here is that Phoenix has been stowing away on this ship by sleeping in his friend's wardrobe for the past 2 weeks. Well, anyway, I'm not sure anyone can fit inside this one. It's full of beautiful outfits. I suppose they're all stage costumes. I was rather hoping we might find Ms. Pavlova's friend hiding in there, but no such luck. Oh my! Miss Pavlova's case is open. Oh, yeah, the one you had to read upside down? I got it right away. They say I'm pretty good at video games, you know. It's completely empty inside, but according to that great detective's great deduction, She was hiding her special friend in here. Yes. A friend that she had to keep secret. Because you're not allowed to bring animals aboard the SS Buria. I wonder what kind of animal she had in there. And more to the point, where is it now? It's in the garbage. I suppose every cabin has a waste paper basket. Shall we have a little look and see what's been thrown away? Naruhodo-san. It's poor etiquette to go sifting through someone's rubbish, you know. Those eyes. Just looking at me like I'm a piece of rubbish now. However, you were correct to do it. Glaring at me over nothing. These are special circumstances, I think. Exactly, we have no choice. There's hardly anything in here at all. Oh, well, that's a little disappointing. I wonder what this little saucer is doing on the floor. Yes, it doesn't look like it's been dropped. More like it was put there deliberately. Do you think? Do you think there could be a leak in the roof just above here? What? A leak? We're not in a submarine. Is this ship quite safe? I'm sure that even if there's a little leak in the roof, it doesn't mean the whole ship is going to sink. No. No, you're right. Of course you're right. She's really trying to persuade herself, isn't she? Tea? Very suspicious. It would seem this teapot is empty. So the natural conclusion is that the Russians are a very thirsty people. Or, because Miss Pavlova only came into this cabin last night, she hasn't had the chance to make any tea yet. I mean, it could be either. It's definitely that they're excessively thirsty. I'd lay 1,000 to 1 on it. Oh, we're gonna gamba. You're rather obstinate, aren't you, Naruhodo-san? Hooks? Ceiling? Pipe? Picture? All the books have toppled over together. Look, every single one. Do you think that's a god of the sea, perhaps? He's toppled over too, though. It's exactly the same as the bookcase next door, in Kazuma's cabin. Perhaps Miss Pavlova was practicing a difficult ballet pose and fell against the bookcase. Phoenix writes, no animals allowed on ships, but on Pokemon, on a ship, it's all animals all the time. The ship is made of animals. The ship is infused with the spirit of an animal. I don't know, would she really be practicing ballet on the same night she ran away from her ballet company? Alright then. It must have been you. You lost your temper and knocked them all over in a fit of rage. Not everything bad that happens on the ship is because of me, you know. Well, anyway, I'll set them all straight again in here, too. I don't like seeing things in disarray. Do I get any experience for that? I did not level up off of cleaning the bookshelf. Unfortunate. Yes, they're displayed in this cabin, too. Look. SS Buria's Rules of Passage. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden. I suppose Miss Pavlova realized that she needed to keep the contents of her case a secret after she read this. Her special friend, I mean. I wonder where her friend has disappeared to now. It's probably having fun exploring the ship, I imagine. I just hope Seaman Stroganoff doesn't find it and throw it overboard. Oh, yes. So do I. So, what else am I gonna look at? Bag? Door? Look at the door. This cabin door has the same simple sort of bolted latch that our cabin door has. If the bolt's drawn across, there's no way anybody could enter the cabin from outside. Yes, it's not a particularly heavy-duty bolt, is it? But still, it wouldn't slide across of its own accord, would it? No. And the door is made of metal, so there's no chance of trickery using magnets to unbolt it from the outside. Man, that's a good idea. I should carry magnets in case I need to get through a non-metallic door that's bolted with a simple latch. And it seals up perfectly, too, to stop any seawater coming in. So you couldn't use the method you told me of passing a thread through a crack around the closed door, either. I seem to know a lot of tricks for opening doors. I'm just starting to see why they suspect me. What else is there? The vent? These are all things that we've... Oh, no, I guess we didn't really... No, we kind of looked around when we were in here last time. So this ventilator connects to Cosmo's cabin next door. Yes, although what a fool the shipbuilder must be to open a ventilator into another room. Maybe it's so that if there's a gas leak next door, the occupant of this cabin would notice and raise the alarm. Or the occupants of both cabins would die of gas poisoning. That is a possibility. Anyway, last night, Cosmo wrote that he saw a speckled band coming out of this ventilator. There's one of these next to the bed in Cosmo's cabin, too. Yes, it's a bell cord. I can't resist! She did it! How could you? She barely hesitated there, and she gave it a good tug, too. No, I didn't actually expect anyone to come. We don't want them to. We're trying to investigate in secret. So is there really nothing else? We've examined everything in the room. I don't know what we need to do to proceed. Desk? Desk. There's just a few books on the desk. Nothing else by the looks of it. And I don't know how to read. Well, Miss Pavola only ran away from the ballet last night. She's hardly occupied this cabin for any time at all. That's true. I wonder what kind of books she likes to read. Let me see. Yes, I see. It would seem that Ms. Pavlova enjoys reading books written in Russian. Thanks! I think I probably already knew that. It's rude to ask too much of people, Naruhodo-san. Kindly remember that. Alright, so I guess we walk outside and something should happen? Clearly. Oh, and there was actually a thing that... It looks like she says something based on which one you're hovering over, so that you get like a clue of this is where you need to go in order to progress the plot. That's interesting. I'll try not to rely on it, though. I think it's better not to rely on such things. I've investigated thoroughly, but can't find anything out of place. Oh, okay. It's cheese. Alarm. Oh, it's you. Oh, it's Mr. Sholmes. Look. Wow, you never know where he's going to turn up next, do you? He seems to be stealing a look at something as he sings to himself. Yeah, nobody has died bloodily, so we haven't had a chance to see what color their blood is in this universe. I did it the great detective way. He's still singing. Do you think he hasn't noticed us? Or he's simply in extremely high spirits? Yes, there were times, I'm sure you knew, when the yard bit off more than it could chew. And through it all, and there was... Oh, I'm supposed to be singing it to the tune of I Did It My Way. But I don't know that offhand. Excuse me. I solved it all, and I stood tall. I did it the great detective way. Mr. Sholmes! What is it? You want to fight? Honestly, interrupting a fellow when he's singing, and I was just about to reach the climactic finish. Sorry, I thought you were never going to stop, so I figured now is as good a time as any. I very nearly dropped you to the floor with one of my famous right hooks. Alright, I get the picture. Now could you put those fists away? Mr. Sholmes, you seemed to be examining something before we interrupted you. Ah, yes, that. I was immersed in a study of the ship's logs, penned by the stockily built crewman who's usually on guard here. Oh, yes, the ship's log. And did you find out anything useful from it? Well, after 2 a.m. this morning, the majority of the entries are blank. Which means that there was nothing to report. Nothing of note happened, so... You truly are a student from the land of the rising sun. You've been utterly blinded by it. Don't be mean to Japan. Sorry? Your logic, my boy, is inverted. Whatever do you mean, Mr. Sholmes? Observe the other pages, and all shall become clear. It would seem the same crewman oft stands sentry in this first-class passageway, and he has an almost religious practice of recording nothing to report every half hour. Oh, he writes that in every 30 minutes? Nothing to report? Precisely. Put simply, the seaman writes nothing to report when there is just that. And yet, the ship's log from last night is largely blank. He didn't even write nothing to report. Do you mean... Yes. There were circumstances afoot last night, which led to the seaman being absent from his post. What kind of circumstances? What happened? That remains a mystery for now, but we can be sure something significant took place. So significant that it caused the seaman to forget his regular habit of scribing nothing to report in the log. Yeah, he was introduced as Herlock Sholmes. With his assistant Wilson. These are important details. I would stake my life on it. You must log the ship's log in your mental file. Okay, I did it. Now that deduction was worthy of a great detective. Ah, you're starting to understand what my way is, I see. What makes Sholmes, Sholmes? Brilliance. Ooh, ouch. What is it? Are you hurt? Oh, don't worry yourself. Seem to be afflicted with a throbbing head this morning for some reason, nothing more. Are we all going to die of carbon monoxide poisoning? Is that what's happening? Is it aliens? Well, my friends, until our next encounter. He's still singing to himself. I can hear it as he wanders off down the passageway. Is something wrong, Susato-san? You seem lost in thought. It's just... Well, I feel the same. Sorry? Ever since I woke this morning, I've had something of a headache. A sort of continuous throbbing. Oh, you too? It's aliens. That door leads to the second-class area. It's locked. I can't open it. No, well, that stands to reason. No one wants to let the murderer escape. Gosh, she gave me a very stern look when she said that. Where is Hildebrand and Nashu? What else have I yet to inspect? First class cabin number 1. Yes, that's our cabin. Not our cabin. It's Kazuma-sama's. Sorry? Your accommodation is confined to the wardrobe inside the cabin. You know how to make a stowaway feel small, don't you? Small as the wardrobe I've been calling home. Anyway, I wonder if Inspector Hosonaga has managed to uncover any new clues. Yes, we should probably find him and ask. Ms. Pavlova's cabin. This could be our chance. What? The burly sailor doesn't appear to be around at the moment. We can investigate. Every last inch of the cabin. I did already. Not sure if we could go that far. We could certainly do with looking around more. I'm sure we could learn something. I'm not sure. I think we have to look at something else. Didn't get any kind of prompt. We've already gotten all his stuff. Alright, it's gotta be that there's... something in this room or the other room that I haven't examined. Alright, let's move back to the other cabin. What's that? My protagonist waves have set off an alarm. It wasn't going to go off, but then I did something. Shut down the engines immediately. Vessel sighted a quarter-mile 4. Is it on... Full stop. Hard away from larboard. All hands brace for impact. What the... I think we're about to crash into another ship. What? I can't stand. Susato-san, hold on to me. Wag! Susato-san, are you alright? Are you injured at all? I think I'm fine. Thank you. Naruhodo-san. Did we fall into a compromising anime position? No. And now we're going to notice all of the books tipped over again? Okay. It looks like we avoided a collision. I think... Yes, the ship has come to a stop. Oh my goodness, what about you, Naruhodo-san? Are you hurt? No, I'm fine. Bonk, bonk, bonk. Hello, is anyone in there? Shout if you need assistance. Oh, it sounds like... Inspector Hosonaga. Is that you in there, Naruhodo-san? Unbolt the door quickly. Oh, when the ship rocked, the bolt slid into place. Okay, alright, locked room mystery solved. The killer was able to just walk out the door, and the door bolted behind him when the ship tilted. What? The bolt? Look at that. The door's bolted. Did you do that, Susato-san? No, I didn't touch it. Well, that's strange. How did... And look at all the books. They're just like they were before again. Naruhodo-san, aren't you going to open the door and let the inspector in? Better tidy this place up first. Our violent emergency stop had solved one mystery, at least, in a very vivid way. In a very convenient way. But I knew that what awaited us on the other side of the cabin door would not be pleasant. I hurried around, tidying up the cabin with a new sense of foreboding in my heart. Why did we feel the need to tidy up the cabin? Alright, so part 2 of the investigation was much shorter than part 1. Part 1 was the entire last stream. It was almost 3 hours.